follow a minute's silence for the 96 souls who perished at Hillsborough on that awful April afternoon in 1989.
Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow marks 30 years since 96 of our fans went to support their team in an FA Cup semi-final and never came home again. To mark the 30th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster, we will now hold a minute's silence, which will start and end on the referee's whistle. For those of you in the Kop and the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand, please now raise your cards to display a special mosaic.
Well, that silence also stands as a salute to the stoicism and tenacity of the victims' families, whose 27-year campaign brought about a verdict of unlawful death in 2016. Liverpool fans were finally exonerated from any blame from the tragedy. Well, after the tribute comes the pursuit of triumph. Liverpool and Manchester City have both played 33 games. City's lead at the top is a point. The Reds can re-establish a two-point lead with victory today. Chelsea, it's huge for them as well, you know. They've won 3 in a row. They currently hold a 2-point advantage over 5th place Manchester United in the race for top 4. It's an electric atmosphere, Lee Dixon, and this is the business end of the season. What a vital day this is.
Well, it's huge. Just listen to this crowd. It really is spectacular. And we're in for a real afternoon. We really are. There's going to be tension. The football might not be the best because of that.
Given away by Jorginho. Straight to Keita. Here's Robertson. Naby Keita has now scored in his last 2 Liverpool games. His first goals for the club. And the throw goes the other way.
Well, just to give people a little indication of how loud it was, we've got a box with lots of little things we can fiddle with in order to get our sound right in our ears and our microphone, and I'm twiddling away trying to get to the right level because it is absolutely deafening. It really is.
The high press is on from Liverpool, and they've won a throw-in. Sadio Mane with it. There's Eden Hazard. Scored a virtuoso goal in the League Cup triumph here for Chelsea earlier in the season. Fabinho. Robertson hangs it up towards the back post. He took a deflection, and Kepa Arrizabalaga able to gather it. And every time the Chelsea fans strike up the Steve Gerrard song, the Liverpool fans respond. Salah getting in the way of that distribution from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, and just looking at Hudson-Odoi's position, stuck right outside on this right wing. You can't even see him in your picture. He virtually got chalk on his boots. And he'll be tested, both defensively and attacking-wise, but his job is to get it, Robertson, stop him going forward and really be a thorn in Liverpool's side on this right-hand side. Massive fan of his. Watched him playing for England and Chelsea. He's not played an awful lot for Chelsea, but certainly a massive talent if they can get the ball to him.
Won high the field by Liverpool, but then Chelsea hunted an attack, managed to dispossess Mane. Here's Luis. Now Azpilicueta. Keita got in the way of that pass. And it's a very lively looking Liverpool at the start of the game here. Robertson. Here's Joel Martin, who dropped to the bench against Porto in the Champions League here during the week. Dejan Lovren got his first start since early January. He's returned from that hamstring problem that he suffered in the FA Cup at Wolves. He's on the bench today.
We talked, Arlo, didn't we, about that relishing these nerves and the pressure that they're under. You've got to when you're a top player.
Firmino finds Henderson, who missed that fateful game in 2014 through suspension after that red card against Manchester City in an earlier game. That 3-2 victory that meant that the title was in Liverpool's hands when Chelsea arrived. With 3 games to go, they were on the crest of an 11-match winning streak. It was a 3rd minute of stoppage time when Steven Gerrard miscontrolled Mamadou Sakho's pass. Then Babar finished. Willian added a second late on. Liverpool only took 4 points from the final 3 games, and City won the title by winning their last 5 games. The final margin was 2 points. The flag is up on the near side. And the names of the teams are the same, and he reiterated, as he has all season, we want to write our own history.
Oh, interesting, just watching Hudson-Odoi get the ball for the first time in Liverpool's half, went immediately inside, went inside, took the gaze of the defenders with him, and that's when Hazard, playing in that false 9, will make the runs in between the defenders to try and get into the space that Hudson-Odoi has left. But watch that on both sides, Willian coming inside and also Hudson-Odoi.
Sadio Mane, Hudson-Odoi with the challenge. Started the last 2 Premier League games, his first Premier League starts of his career. He started for England, as you said, Lee, before he'd even started a Premier League game, so maybe Gareth Southgate dropping a rather large hint to Maurizio Sarri. There's Mo Salah, who started that game, of course, in 2014 for Chelsea, played an hour. Liverpool have it back. Here's Naby Keita. Rudiger tried the challenge, wasn't successful. Mane steps it up, Salah saved. There's an excellent volley by Mo Salah against his former club. Straight at Aretha Balaga.
Well, good work. They get it onto the left-hand side. It's a good cross, and Henderson's the one that catches the eye. He makes that run. It just goes over his head. And Mo Salah in a perfect position to just wait and watch. Watch it straight onto his shin, actually. He doesn't quite get the contact. That's a warning sign. For Chelsea, but again, Henderson, we saw him arriving late.
How Jurgen Klopp, Mohamed Salah and Liverpool fans everywhere would dearly love him to score a goal against a big 6 opponent. He's fouled by Emerson. Only 1 in his last 11 against the top 6 since scoring twice here against Tottenham last season, and that was a penalty against Arsenal in December. So he's due. Snaps his 8-game scoreless streak down at Southampton in spectacular style in their last game. Here's Keita, who scored his first Premier League goal. Can Mane keep that in? He can. Salah looking for it on the edge of the penalty area. Willian runs into Fabinho.
Brilliant feat from Willian then, because he had to have a great touch. He was on the edge of his own box. Took the choice to dribble out, make a mistake there, put your team right in trouble, but Mane already twice got into this left-hand side. That's a feature of Liverpool with Robertson.
Keita, who looks full of confidence. It's not been an easy start to his Liverpool career, but maybe there are signs of late that he's coming to terms with life at this football club. Foul on Eden Hazard, free kick to Chelsea. Jordan Henderson, born 50 days after Liverpool last won the title.
Do you know how old that makes me feel?
Luis looking for Hudson-Odoi. He's out of play. Of course, Liverpool's last title came when you were defending champions, having won the title on this ground on the final day of the season.
That's why I feel really old. But I was watching Chelsea warm up before the game, and they were snapping into everything. The coaches had them doing some really small, tight drills where they had to use quick feet, get the ball away, pass it, little volleys, and they were on it, all of them, every single one of them. It was noticeable how fired up they were in the warm-up, and they've started the game, certainly, Chelsea, firing into tackles and closing Liverpool down.
Now Martin. Fabinho, man on with the shout from the crowd. Salah. Pressured by Jorginho, finds Fabinho. Now here's Keita with some space. Darting down the left-hand side is Robertson. Keita's going to try and go it alone. By the Belgian. No foul, says Michael Oliver. The challenge by Fabinho. The only Chelsea player remaining at the club who started that game in April 2014. A lot of speculation about Eden Hazard's future. His contract expires in the summer of 2020. And there he is. Looks to be in a great deal of pain. But perhaps looks like he can continue. He does have 7 goals against Liverpool. He's been a thorn in their side in recent years. He hasn't scored more against any other opponent in England.
He is the best at that little turn on the halfway line and getting away from players. When players are chasing him, he's got a brilliant ability to just put his weight in between him and the ball, and then almost Gaza did it. Paul Gascoigne used to do it. He almost pushes himself away off the body behind him and gets that little yard, and then his speed just takes him elsewhere.
Brilliantly worked by Chelsea. Away goes N'Golo Kanté. Hazard's back on the field down the middle. And here's Hudson-Odoi running at Virgil van Dijk. Decent looking cross. It was punched clear by Alisson. Willian was loitering at the back post. Goal kick.
Good thing about Hudson-Odoi from an attacking point of view, he normally makes good decisions and he gets the ball with space in front of him. An old adage when I was a kid growing up, a coach told me, you've got grass in front of you, run into it, because it makes defenders worried about that and they back off. He does it brilliantly well, and then when the ball needs to be crossed, when he's not got the time, he does that as well. So he's picked that up at an early age as a winger.
Excellent physical work by Sadio Mane. Here's Naby Keita. Fabinho. Wide he goes to Salah. Mane took a deflection on its way.
Yeah, it just took the pace off the ball a little bit. The little ding from Salah. There's the run. And it just hit Jorginho, I think, on the way in. It just took that pace off it.
Liverpool have it back again. Salah, Roberto Firmino chips it up straight. Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool look confident, they look settled, and they look poised.
Well, you can see Chelsea's game plan almost getting 5 across. Just keep it nice and tight, try and restrict Liverpool the space.
Salah. Willian is the defender. Salah leaves it in his wake. Nice school down by the byline. Michael Oliver says goal kick. It was a challenge by David Luiz.
Well, Willian dived in the first. I'm going to see a better angle here. Is there any contact when he puts his... Is it away? Referee spot on.
And there's Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who is an elegant player. He appears to have broken through with Hudson-Odoi, the young Englishman, and there he is in the penalty area. Missed control when he had a decent opportunity, but he wins the ball back from Virgil van Dijk. Here's Hazard. Jorginho. Azpilicueta. N'Golo Kante. Jorginho again. Spreads the play to Willian. Here's Emerson. Starting a third consecutive Premier League game for the first time in his Chelsea career. He scored in that League Cup tie earlier in the season. He enjoys getting forward. Here's Willian again. Henderson bars his route to the penalty area. Lovely first touch by Salah. Claims of handball. Play on, says Michael Oliver. Here's Firmino. He runs into Rudiger and is fouled by Rudiger. Free kick to Liverpool.
Well, he just couldn't get it out of his feet, Firmino, because on this left-hand side, Mane was free. Perhaps could have got his head up a little bit earlier and just switched it out here, but it's easy to say because that wind is swirling around. Even when trying to get the ball down to feet, you can't quite maybe see it. Well, you can't see it on the TV, but it's certainly swirling up here and down on the pitch. Definitely swirling around. Can't see wind, can you? I just realised as I was saying that. I was looking at a flag at the time. Give me a break.
Little slip from Robertson, but he regains his footing. Van Dijk. Salah.
Zonder risico opgeruimd door Antonio Rudiger. Fabinho. Nonchalant, te nonchalant. Hudson-Odoi.
Matige bal, toch? Hij is weg. Hij is helemaal los tussen die twee centrale verdedigers van Liverpool.
Deze komt wel aan. Naby Keita. Buitenkantje voet. Veel te scherp.
Geweldige bal. Goede loopactie hè, van Firmino die de ruimte maakt daar voor Keita hier. Zo belangrijk Firmino. Hè. Het gaat altijd Mané, het is altijd Salah. Maar als je hem ziet als tussenstation, hoe belangrijk hij is en ook de goals die hij maakt. En de druk die hij zet. Fundamentele speler voor Klopp.
Goeie bal, Luis. Hazard op zijn Hazards. We zijn bij Willian. Hazard is los. Kijkt even naar de grensrechter weer. Hazard.
I think it was a little unfortunate when he was brought down earlier because we saw the replay, didn't we, on our monitor, which suggested there might not have been an offside in the build-up. Instead, it's with Keita for Liverpool at the other end into the penalty area, prods it goalwards. Where both Henderson and Roberto Firmino were arriving, but too close to Kepa Arrizabalaga, who holds on. It's getting stretched.
It is getting stretched, and Hudson-Odoi there not really helping out his teammates, just jogging back there. He's got to do a little bit better out of possession for that quick switch. And just Keita, I think if he just holds on to the ball for a fraction longer, it would have just allowed the Liverpool players to get across the near post. But it was still a nice ball into a good area.
There's Loftus-Cheek for Chelsea on halfway. Touch for Willian to Emerson. There was a slight doubt for this game. Pass fit to return at left back. Of course, Marcos Alonso scored the only goal actually in Prague against Slavia on Thursday in the Europa League. But Emerson returning. Willian playing it forward here towards Eden Hazard. He stayed onside. Tries to go around Matip, twisting and turning to create the space for the shot. Got it onto his left foot in the end, but when the shot came, it didn't really have the power to trouble Alisson, who was well positioned on his near post, not extended by that. But again, it's that movement of Eden Hazard that is giving Liverpool a real issue.
Yeah, Matip there, he's twisted Matip there. He's not done great, although it's fortunately for Liverpool, it was on his left foot, and the shot was weak because his first touch was under his feet, but he's worked the space brilliantly well. And again, some of the combination play by Chelsea has been very good. Emerson, as you mentioned there, he started the game really well so far. Alonso doesn't even make the bench today, and I'm quite surprised, as I mentioned earlier in the commentary, with only one substitute on the bench.
Well, that's Andreas Christensen. Liverpool launch it long here, and there's a defender down actually. It's Rudiger, who was giving chase along with Sadio Mane. Ball actually skipped away from both of them, but Rudiger down holding his knee. Just as we were talking about the lack of defensive cover on the bench. It all stemmed from Matip's long ball over the top. Mane was just on the shoulder of Rudiger. A little shove in the back maybe, but I think the damage was done on landing by the German international centre-back. He was just off balance.
It was actually Mane's, his eyes firmly fixed on the ball. Complete accident, but that's one of them innocuous types of injuries where he's clipped his heel accidentally, and that then hopefully for Rudiger hasn't caused a problem in his knee. But a good mix and change of play there from Liverpool. They're trying to catch certainly Rudiger and David Luiz apart, because they can split and they can get a little bit disjointed, and maybe the communication's not great. And that one long ball, particularly got Mane coming from the wing infield, could catch him unawares, and they nearly got free.
Well, they have been the regular partnership this season, Rudiger and David Luiz in the Premier League for Maurizio Sarri. It's starting a 32nd match of the season in this competition. And Rudiger is back on his feet. Christensen, as I say, is in reserve. Maurizio Sarri was just waiting for an update from his medical team, whilst the young Danish centre-back goes through a hurried warm-up just in case. Rudiger looks like he's going to be okay. After a fairly lengthy period of treatment here as we head towards the midway point of the first half. Still Liverpool 0, Chelsea 0. At TalkSport Live, our Twitter address. Brian Bailey has got in touch, listening in from Montgomery, Alabama, looking for a great match today that will add more drama to the title race, and indeed for the Champions League spots. You would certainly expect as much one way or the other. Play back underway with Rudiger on the touchline receiving further treatment. Alexander-Arnold clears it long for Liverpool towards Roberto Firmino, just inside the Chelsea half now. Mo Salah beaten in the air. This is N'Golo Kanté to ping it forward, looking to release Hudson-Odoi. Bounces once just in front of him, carries through to Alisson, who releases it very quickly to his left for Naby Keita. He's got room to run into, gets Liverpool back on the front foot again. Robertson in support, trying to play the 1-2 with Sadio Mane, does so, and crosses low into the feet of Roberto Firmino. And just tried to flick it out from under his feet, and it ends up actually careering out of play for the goal kick.
And again, it's Robertson. Boundless energy from Robertson. I'd love to know his stats on how far he runs in a game, because it must be amazing. He's up and down. Firmino just tried to improvise there in that situation. The ball came in very quickly to him, slightly behind him, and he just tried to work a little bit of magic and improvise. Didn't quite work, but the intent from Liverpool is to attack at pace.
Roberto Firmino in some of the best form of his season recently. Was the target for Sadio Mane's little layoff, didn't quite fall for Firmino. It's Loftus-Cheek to drive forward for Chelsea here. Hudson-Odoi to his right, collects possession, edge of the Liverpool penalty area. He's into the box now, tries to flick it up off Van Dijk. He's such an imposing presence, and it actually hit the Dutch defender, enabling Alisson to come and gather again on the edge of his penalty area. It's Hudson-Odoi always offering Chelsea an option in those sort of positions.
I think the thing I like about Hudson-Odoi is he can cross the ball and will cross the ball, and that's why it makes it quite difficult for defenders. He is capable of running at them. He's also capable of crossing into good areas. So if you're a defender, you're not quite sure what he's going to do, and that's always the best way.
A really good recent run under Maurizio Sarri once he'd finally found favour with the current coach. He might just be turning this season around. Chelsea back in the top four going into this game. I must say, after their defeat and the manner of it in the Carabao Cup final, it looked like he didn't have long left as Blues boss. Ball kept in play by Willian for them over on the far side, down by the corner flag. Thinks on Alexander-Arnold, support now from Eden Hazard, corner the box infield towards Loftus-Cheek, turns well away from Fabinho, and then floated forward by Jorginho, too close to Alisson. It was a comfortable take for the goalkeeper.
Well, at least he's forward, isn't it? He's trying to play a forward pass and try to find a player there rather than a negative sideways pass. And Jurgen Klopp just looking a little bit anxious. One or two good runs for the Chelsea players in behind their two centre-halves. I mean, it's talked about being their toughest game. It's obvious it's Chelsea, but you just wonder what type of Chelsea were coming today, attitude-wise, and they're spot on so far.
Yep. A really good matchup there so far, 25 minutes in, 0-0. Jurgen Klopp's 200th game as Liverpool manager, and of the sides that he's faced more than once at home, Chelsea are the only team that he is yet to get the better of at Anfield as the Liverpool manager. This is Fabinho sweeping it forward in towards Mo Salah, nods it down for Henderson to strike one. It's deflected, loops just wide of the target. It could have gone anywhere really. Kepa in goal was committed and going the wrong way, but the deflected effort drops the other side of the post and they have to settle for the corner.
That's good play from Salah, and I think is on target. I think Kepa probably had it covered, but Salah just cushioned that ball down. He knows Henderson's appearing, and that's what Henderson's done well. He's got good energy. In actual fact, if it's on target, I don't think Kepa gets it, and it was a good leg out and a good block from Luiz in the end.
He goes for the corner, which has been taken quickly. Liverpool still with plenty forward in the middle, awaiting the delivery, which is glanced away from immediate danger only as far as Roberto Firmino flicks that off Emerson for another corner kick here for Liverpool. The set pieces keep coming for them. Nobody scored more Premier League goals from set pieces than Liverpool's 19 so far this season. 12 from corner kicks is also a Premier League high, and they will leave this one again for Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's come all the way across from the other side of the field to take it. Right-footed from the Liverpool left. Both centre-backs are his obvious targets. Matip and Van Dijk in there. It comes towards the near post. Headed clear of immediate danger as far as Jordan Henderson. He will find Mo Salah on the corner of the box though, bringing it under control. Despite the presence of Jorginho, which Salah tries to pick away past. He's helped out by Roberto Firmino. Has the ball at his feet now on the Liverpool right. Goes back down the line to his captain Henderson. Crossfield for Robertson. Brings that under control on the halfway line. To his right, Joel Matip. Forward for Mo Salah. Tried to shift it first time into the feet of Firmino. Henderson will now do so, but the Brazilian couldn't hold on to it. Conte comes away with it. So another mazy run. He was trying to find Hudson-Odoi, cut out by Naby Keita. And again, he will search forward for Liverpool. Sadio Mane takes over on their left-hand side. Roberto Firmino back in field to Fabinho in the centre circle. Trent Alexander-Arnold as Liverpool press and probe here. Henderson working it wide. Mo Salah again trying to go through the gears. No way past Loftus-Cheek. Henderson will give chase to keep it in tight to the touchline. It goes back down that touchline to Trent Alexander-Arnold, combining with his captain once more. Chelsea keeping their shape though, defending with discipline so far, as you would expect in the circumstances.
Well, they've got to defend like this for 95 minutes, because Liverpool will keep going, keep pressing, trying to play forward. They'll keep their patience as well. Liverpool will know, they don't have to get the job done in the first half. It's a matter of patience, waiting for a mistake or a lack of concentration somewhere from the Chelsea defence or midfielders.
They've been so impressive recently in winning games late, haven't they? Liverpool, they were drawing with 10 minutes to go in the last 3 matches and won the lot. So the cross goes in towards Mane here. Just want to bring it under control. He's got Cesar Azpilicueta snapping at his heels. Balls for Robertson to deliver the cross, though, out by Rudiger from the edge of his 6-yard area. Keita will give chase and get to it just ahead of Hudson-Odoi. Robertson back in field, and for Fabinho. Jorginho is with him. Fabinho does well to shield the ball and to hold on to it, to maintain possession for Liverpool. He's gone all the way back into his own half, and Virgil van Dijk, but there is space for the centre-back to stride forward again. He plays it wide right for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now Jordan Henderson, the two England internationals combine. That's it to Naby Keita into the feet of Sadio Mane. Again, Azpilicueta had been drawn out of position and was set to make the challenge before Mane moved it on quickly. Van Dijk now to Henderson down that right-hand side. Further forward is Alexander-Arnold. Back to the Liverpool captain again. Can only watch on the sideline, serving that suspension 5 years ago. Liverpool were beaten by Jose Mourinho's Chelsea, an under-strength Chelsea side that day because of their Champions League commitments at the time. In goes the cross from Alexander-Arnold. This time it's Liverpool in the middle of a Champions League quarter-final. Pretty comfortable win they had here on Tuesday against Porto before Wednesday's return in Portugal. This one always going to be the priority in the circumstances. So much riding on it for Liverpool. The first of their 5 remaining fixtures in the Premier League running. On paper the toughest yet, and they are finding Chelsea a tough nut to crack. And now the Blues will counter. Played long in towards Willian. He will get there first. He'll take on Van Dijk on the edge of the box. Still with Willian. Can he get the shot away? Well, he did. Right-footed effort, but it came off the outside of that right boot and flashed wide of Alisson's left-hand post. The goalkeeper wasn't called into action, but it all started from a Liverpool attack that was cut out by David Luiz. One ball from the Brazilian is all that it took to find his compatriot, and it very nearly opened up for Willian at the other end. Yeah, that was a fantastic opportunity for Willian. Liverpool, as you said, lots of possession. Chelsea holding firm, keeping the shape, and then counter-attacking quickly. Well, it's Liverpool's turn to attack. Roberto Firmino into the box. Salah trying to get there first, but it's cut out and cleared by Cesar Azpilicueta. The Liverpool throw down by that far corner flag. The Liverpool rights taken quickly. Roberto Firmino trying to combine with Alexander-Arnold, but it had gone out of play in the assistant referee flagging. Half an hour in, 0-0 at Anfield. Well, certainly Van Dijk and Matip have got to be very careful. Although they're having lots of possession, if one piece of possession is lost, when you've got Willian who's prepared to run in behind, as we saw there. And I think actually the Liverpool defenders were more concerned whether Willian would pass the ball to Hazard, and they sort of overcompensated marking Hazard and allowed the space then for Willian, and he'd be disappointed he's not hit the target there. That'll give Chelsea some heart, but they're going to have to keep their discipline for a long, long time, Chelsea, and it's difficult to do over 95 minutes. But if they do counter-attack like they have done, they must make it pay. Does suggest they will get opportunities to do that. Here goes Mo Salah on the Liverpool right, taking on Emerson, beating him once and twice, and then goes around it, delivering the cross, put out by David Luiz. Didn't beat the first defender really there. Luiz, an imposing presence, was well positioned on his post. Roberto Firmino wins the ball back for Liverpool though. Henderson to Naby Keita, just outside the box, couple of step overs, looking for options here. Henderson takes over again. There's a very well manned Chelsea defence in and around their own penalty area. Back behind the ball in blue. Henderson crossfield this time to Alexander-Arnold to bring it under control. Willian with him, infield to Fabinho. Mo Salah gives chase. Emerson is once again making a nuisance of himself, denying Mo Salah any sort of space. Willian trying to double up as well. They've done that well so far in this first half an hour. Well, that's exactly why Willian's playing on that side, and Hudson-Odoi on the other side. Better served and
more defence-minded than Hazard.
Fabinho prodding it forward, almost finding another of the Brazilian contingent. Roberto Firmino emphatically away by Rudiger.
That was an old-fashioned stick it in the stand, wasn't it? That was Rose Z, you'd call that one.
I think it needed to be in the circumstances as well. He wasn't going to take a chance with that one.
He wasn't, but then Hazard is asking him to calm down and pass the ball. Sure, that's not in Rudiger's makeup in that situation. He was just relieved to clear a little bit of defensive pressure.
Liverpool have it back on halfway here with Fabinho looking for Robertson. Well won by Hudson-Odoi. N'Golo Conte takes over. Here's Eden Hazard. He's got the time to turn and advances now up towards the edge of the Liverpool penalty area with support to his left from Willian. Plays it back infield. Loftus-Cheek collects. Fabinho is with him. Loftus-Cheek tries to wriggle past him and in the end was completely outnumbered. He was surrounded by about 6 red shirts there. The clearance from Van Dijk, though, is straight up in the air really. There was more height than there was distance on that clearance from the Dutchman. He will get a second bite at it and reaches halfway with it this time. Back by Chelsea towards Loftus-Cheek. Again, the challenge comes in very quickly. As Ruben Loftus-Cheek tries to capitalise on the starting spot under Maurizio Sarri, again very recently won, and he is beginning to have more of an influence in the game.
He's done very well in possession. I think he's been a real threat. He's on the ball now. He's such a strong player, isn't he? 6'4 plus, holds the ball well. Players find it very difficult to get the ball off him, and he's quite disciplined in his approach to what he has to do for the team.
Just the one shot on target apiece so far with 34 minutes on the clock. Chelsea patiently pressing down their left-hand side, but no joy. Liverpool clear up towards Mo Salah. Just runs away from him as Jorginho closes down that space. Roberto Firmino thought about taking the throw himself on the halfway line. He's going to wait and has to go back down the line to allow Alexander-Arnold to do so. Toby Young has tweeted as listening from Port Harcourt in Nigeria. Liverpool looking the favourite to win on paper, but can Chelsea really do damage in Anfield today? He still remembers that famous slip from Steven Gerrard. Robin Michael Thompson listening from Brazil. We've got Stephen and Benjamin tuned in from Nigeria as well. At TalkSport Live is our Twitter address. Let us know where in the world you are listening to us today. Always great to hear from you. Liverpool try and come forward, but Roberto Firmino unable to keep that ball in play. It goes out on the far side for the Chelsea throwers. And we head towards the end of the first half, the last 10 minutes anyway of the first half, with precious little between them.
There's not a lot. Chelsea counter-attacking well, looking dangerous, and that'll be a cause concern for Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp will be maybe asking for a few more goal-mouth incidents for his team, but he knows it's a quality side he's playing against. You know, Chelsea are no mugs. They're brave under Sarri. Has been criticised, but he is trying to utilise his team to play out and not be afraid to play out.
It's been a decent display from Chelsea so far. They don't have a good record under Sarri, certainly away from home against the Big Six. That 6-0 at Manchester City stands out. Been much more solid so far here. As they try to, of course, do Manchester City inadvertently a favour as they look to boost their own Champions League prospects. Just as important, really, in terms of their ambitions for their season as it is for Liverpool's. You suspect can't really afford to drop a point in the running. One behind Manchester City at kick-off here. After this, Liverpool will have played a game more. Manchester City's match in hand will be the derby with United 10 days from now. Fascinating running, set to go to the wire. So Liverpool do need something here, and they've been dispossessed. There's one win initially by Azpilicueta before Eden Hazard takes over. It's just held on to it a little too long on the edge of the box there. Outnumbered 4-1, Liverpool clear. They looked long for Mane, at least he was the intended target, but the ball too close to Rudiger. He got his head to it first, finds David Luiz, holds on to it and takes a couple of touches. Roberto Firmino then tries to close down Rudiger before Jorginho offers him an out ball back to David Luiz again. Midway inside his own half of the field. A couple of strides forward to the halfway line. Into the feet now of Willian. To his left is Emerson. He'll go back into his own half. Chelsea just trying to hold on to the ball, make Liverpool do a bit more work without it than has been the case so far. But Liverpool have won it back on halfway. Fabinho forward to Roberto Firmino, and now Mo Salah takes over. He's in full flight. He's into the penalty area. Lays it back for Mane, who's just missed it. right-footed effort, hit first time, having been picked out by Mo Salah, and wide it goes. But Liverpool getting closer.
And turnover of possession, Loftus-Cheek for the first time caught in possession, and again it's classic Liverpool counter-attack. Salah cuts inside, looks up, and it's a little bit further away than we first thought, and that is a good chance. He'll be disappointed he's not hit the target there, Sadio Mane, and at least made the keeper work. That comes any way across the keeper, he's going to struggle, and he knows it as well. Good chance for Liverpool there.
And in his form, Mane would have expected to bury that one, maybe. Hit the stanchion behind the goal instead, bending back but nowhere near quickly enough. A really good attack from Liverpool up until the finish. Fabinho has been really impressive in winning it in midfield, but also starting some of those attacks. Starting to show what he can do now since that move from Monaco. Liverpool were the biggest spenders, remember, in the summer as they tried to close the gap to Manchester City. They've succeeded in doing that, in making this a fascinating title race. But Chelsea have got an issue here again. It is Rudiger down, again holding the knee. Had that period of treatment earlier in the first half, and
he's off.
I don't think he's going to be able to continue. The fact that he's gone down again here.
Well, that could be bad news for certainly Chelsea, because he's been great in the first opening 38 minutes. He's made some vital clearances now. I'm only surmising, but he could have tweaked his ligament in the first challenge, and obviously he's opened it up further as he's gone on. He's tried to continue. Now that's the worst case scenario for Chelsea. Christensen, their only defender now, is definitely coming onto the pitch. They've made the decision.
Yeah, he's getting the tracksuit off straight away, wasn't he, when Rudiger went down again here. He's not just the most likely alternative, he's the only alternative.
He is
really
the only
on the
alternative.
bench.
And I can't understand here why they don't just give him a stretcher here. And mind you, there's two to help him off. But that's a shame. That could be a knee ligament issue. I hope it's not serious, because I thought he's done pretty well in the first 38 minutes, Rudiger. And I wonder if that'll have any effect on now the Chelsea back four, in terms of just that combination play and understanding they had.
And he has an arm around the shoulder of two of the Chelsea medical team. He can't put any weight.
They've passed on.
They have.
Good job. They got the extra. They got 12 members of staff down there.
It's like a tag team, wasn't it, on the touchline?
There's a swap there.
As they helped him away from the field. Couldn't put any weight at all on that left foot, Antonio Rudiger. So Andreas Christensen is on. Chelsea forced into a change 5 minutes before half-time, and Rudiger, who's had a really impressive season as well as an impressive first half here, will play no further part. Too early to speculate, really, but I suspect he might play no further part in their season. So close is it to its conclusion, of course, now, but the business end still to come. Chelsea also involved in a European quarter-final against Slavia Prague in the Europa League, where Christensen has been a regular in that competition for them this season. David Luiz alongside him, cutting out the danger. Chelsea go long towards Hudson-Odoi. Robertson guides it back to his goalkeeper Alisson. Liverpool will build again from the back through the final 5 of this first half, which will have just been extended a little by that injury to Rudiger. Interesting that Mo Salah was the first on the scene, really offering his support, his sympathy. Those two were teammates together at Roma, but their direct duel today is ended by that injury. Now Henderson sets off on a surge forward, a chase for Liverpool down their right after it was launched long in his direction. David Luiz was across with him and just shepherded it out of play. It was always asking a little too much of Henderson to get on the end of that.
Yes, Henderson's got great energy, hasn't he? And he can run in behind centre-halves, Henderson. Slightly further forward, and Jurgen Klopp was raving about him. It was a couple of weeks ago now in his performance as a player to run beyond Firmino. And he's obviously got an eye for a goal occasionally, Henderson.
Such an important figure in that Liverpool midfield, brought back as captain today. He came off the bench against Southampton in their previous league fixture. Here's Willian working the combination with Loftus-Cheek. Eden Hazard gets involved as well before N'Golo Kanté works it wide to Callum Hudson-Odoi, cutting in from that right-hand side. Marshalled first by Mane and then by Keita infield. Chelsea still have it, albeit they're forced back to the halfway line here. First real contribution of note from Christensen, and it's an awkward one for him as he turns back and plays it to his own goalkeeper, Kepa, to clear, because he was being pressurised by Naby Keita. Christensen again has it. Mane with him this time. Christensen goes long, asking both Hazard and Willian to chase it. Coolly dealt with by Alexander-Arnold. Goes it back again to his goalkeeper. Just time for Alisson to take a touch. But his clearance wasn't a good one. It's cut out by Loftus-Cheek. Back come Chelsea on the edge of the Liverpool penalty area here. Willian with it, away from Henderson. Shifts it infield on the side foot to Kante. Has a hit. Didn't connect properly and actually struck his own teammate Eden Hazard with it. He couldn't control it. Liverpool clear. And now Roberto Firmino rides the challenge of contact inside the centre circle and finds Robertson to his left. A heavy touch though. Just enabled Azpilicueta to intervene. Again, it's so stretched as we head towards half-time. Liverpool were coming under a little bit of pressure and then tried to catch out Chelsea on the counter, play them at their own game maybe, but Chelsea get the throw at the end of it all.
Against the counter-attacking ambition from Liverpool, it is so quick, it's so dynamic. They work on it in training. It's a feature of their game over the past few years with Jurgen Klopp, and it's devastating at times. But credit to Chelsea, they've managed to get back quickly. And Chelsea have made it a really good game, to be fair, and I've been impressed with them today so far as well. I think they've been brave on the ball.
And here they come again with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Just nicked away from him by Joel Matip. He did have support from Hazard. He was threatening for a moment, but instead it's Mane for Liverpool, and he drives forward. N'Golo Kanté going with him. Mane trying to go around the outside of Azpilicueta before he was just caught. Takes a tumble. And for the first time this afternoon, out comes the card from Michael Oliver, brandished in the direction of the Chelsea captain, Cesar Azpilicueta.
Yeah, that's great pace. Change of pace, fantastic from Sadio Mane there. He just slowed down and quickened up, and it was just the left arm from Azpilicueta. He realised that the pace of Mane had done him really there. Now, Maurizio Sarri just having a chat, and Zola with the referee, Michael Oliver, asking why.
We're deep in conversation, and now Zola is helping the head coach, Maurizio Sarri, away from the scene. Still a look of
I think he's complaining about
his
something.
face.
Well, he surely can't complain about the actual booking itself. I think it's maybe something that happened maybe a couple of seconds before that.
And he's going to sit down again and note something down. Maurizio Sarri's Liverpool wait to take the free kick. It's in by Alexander-Arnold. It's a brilliant ball. Just needed the touch. Flag up, I think, on the far side. It was. As Roberto Firmino tried to get his foot to that and call Kepa into action. He was behind it anyway. It was a wicked ball in here. Salah stepped over it. Alexander-Arnold delivered. And if it was offside, it was by the merest of margins.
Literally the merest of margins. Maybe an arm's width. And Kepa wasn't to know that, and I thought he did very well. Lots of keepers will maybe dive across the line of the oncoming players, but he stood his ground, managed to get his feet in the way.
Made the block. It was Firmino that got the touch. If he hadn't, then Matip, I'm sure, would have done just beyond him. 45 minutes are up. We will have 3 more to be added on at the end of this first half on Premier League Live. It's still Liverpool 0, Chelsea 0. Not too many clear-cut openings at either end, but it has been fascinating fare.
Well, I was wondering what team would turn up for Chelsea today in terms of effort, commitment, ability to try and pass the ball around under pressure, and they certainly turned up. Liverpool have been the more progressive, dynamic side with better opportunities so far, and it's a fascinating game. It's finely poised.
It certainly is. First half added time, and neither will be too concerned at this stage that it remains goalless. Chelsea have scored 19 Premier League goals in the final 15 minutes of matches this season. The only side to score more in that period are Liverpool. They tend to specialise, both of them, in late drama. Maybe still on course to provide the platform for a late twist as well today. Almost halfway through this added period at the end of the first half. Joel Matip on the ball for Liverpool as they try and build from the back again. Fabinho squares it to Virgil van Dijk. Forward it goes first time for Robertson into the path of Naby Keita. He made a good run to get on the end of that. Christensen across with him with the challenge. And Liverpool will certainly settle for another corner as we head towards half-time. Trying to put the pressure on Christensen, who was covering for Azpilicueta. Of course, his job made that much tougher by the yellow card a moment ago. In fact, it has actually gone for the goal kick here. Final touch coming off Naby Keita. And Kepa resists the temptation just to clear it away as far as he can, and instead plays it out to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. Chelsea sticking to their philosophy and a not inconsiderable first-half pressure here. Jurgen Klopp acting as ball boy in his technical area to allow Robertson to take the throw, but Liverpool have lost it in their midfield. Jorginho gets his foot in. Eden Hazard right to the challenge of Keita. Fabinho stops him in his tracks, but it breaks kindly for Jorginho again to pick the pass to his.
Now, but Hotspur have levelled with 16 minutes to go. Harry Kane has now got 9 goals in 9 games against the Gunners. It's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
We are at half-time at Anfield, where it is tight, it is tense, there is nothing in it so far between Liverpool and Chelsea. A big game for both at the top of the table. Stalemate in the first 45, and this is how you heard it. wide left is Sadio Mane to deliver the cross. Chance for Salah, and he caught it left-footed on the volley, but down to make the save goes Arrizabalaga, the Chelsea keeper, called into action for the first time today with 5 minutes play. Willian playing it forward here towards Eden Hazard. He stayed onside, tries to go around Matip, twisting and turning to create the space for the shot. Got it onto his left foot in the end, but when the shot came, it didn't really have the power to trouble Alisson, who was well positioned on his near post. Now the Blues will counter. Played long in towards Willian. He will get there first. He'll take on Van Dijk on the edge of the box, still with Willian. Can he get the shot away? Well, he did. Right-footed effort, but it came off the outside of that right boot and flashed wide of Alisson's left-hand post. The goalkeeper wasn't called into action. Fabinho forward to Roberto Firmino, and now Mo Salah takes over. He's in full flight. He's into the penalty area. Lays it back for Mane, who's just missed it. Right-footed effort, hit first time, having been picked out by Mo Salah, and wide it goes. But Liverpool getting closer. Well, they were getting closer. They had opportunities in that first half. Mane towards the end of it, as you just heard. Perhaps the pick for Mo Salah just 5 minutes in. But Chelsea with openings of their own as well. It was a tactical tussle, Alan McLaughlin, in the first half.
Yeah, fascinating tactical tussle, really. Certainly for the purists who are watching the game. Only a couple of chances each team. Mane, probably, Salah, probably he shinned it off his shin pad. He'll feel he should do better. Mane as well should feel he should hit the target. Equally though, Willian had a great opportunity on the counter-attack. The Liverpool defenders were really more concerned, I think, with Hazard. Felt he was the danger man. And if he hits it across Alisson, you never know, it could nestle in the bottom corner. But it's been a fascinating first half. I think I've been surprised with Chelsea in terms of how they're approached. They've been really brave, trying to play out from the back and trying to... They look more organised than certainly other games I've seen them play. They're quite happy to sit in, defend, and then they're looking to counter-attack. I think for this particular game, with the strength of Liverpool's fullbacks, I think Hazard is probably in the best position possible for the team. I think if you're playing against a lesser side, you stick him on the left and let him do his magic. But today particularly, with the threat from the two fullbacks in Robertson and in Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think it's been wise that they've filled them positions with legs, and particularly Willian, who's tracked down that left-hand side as a defender. Hudson-Odoi can sleep in. He's not got that as much experience than Willian, certainly, so it could be Achilles' heel for them in the second half. But if you're asking me now which team probably favourites, you'd probably look at Liverpool in terms of their energy and more players probably that could score a goal at this particular time in it. But it's still a lot to do for Liverpool, and Chelsea are firmly in the game.
They have scored so many late goals, haven't they, Liverpool, particularly recently, more late goals than anybody else in the Premier League. They seem to have that belief this season. They may well need it again today.
Yeah, they'll need it, certainly, if they've got any aspirations of winning the Premier League. It's a big half in terms of keeping calm, not panicking if they don't score in the first 10 or 15 minutes. There is opportunities and will be in the game, and it's who can be clinical and finish it off. Yeah,
we shall see. Big second half for both of these sides are on the way very shortly. Liverpool surely need to win this. They certainly do. They want to go back to the top of the table, because Manchester City were winners earlier, 3-1 at Crystal Palace, to move back to the summit and put the pressure on the Reds ahead of kick-off here. We can hear after that game from Pep Guardiola, the Manchester City manager, talking to our own Sam Matterface.
Pep, congratulations, 3 points for your team today. What is the hardest thing in games like that? Because you were completely dominant for almost all of it. Is it keeping your concentration?
What we have done during 20 months. So when you are able to do right now in this stage with 5 games left in 2 seasons, 183 points. So you are not consistent in these kind of stadiums, and the marvelous stadiums like Tottenham Hotspur 3-4 days ago, you cannot do that. So I didn't have any doubts about our reaction and our defeat against Tottenham in Champions League, and so we knew it's a situation. So Liverpool, we think they are not going to lose any or drop any points. So we have to win all the games what we have. Our destiny is in our hands. So you have now 5 games left, and now focus, of course, on the Champions League, and after Tottenham home, Old Trafford, Burnley, Leicester, Brighton, and we will see.
Is that one of the greatest achievements that you've managed here at City, is making a team that are that consistent over that period of time?
Yeah, by far. We were able, so we won Barcelona 3 leagues in a row, and Bayern Munich 3 leagues in a row. When you win the leagues, it's because every 3 days you are there, every week you are there. Not one game, one bad performance, like all the pundits and the specialists say, it's a bad decision for the managers against Tottenham. So sorry, I'm so sorry, guys. So that can happen, but the consistent every 3 days being there, that that is incredible. So that is I said many times, that is the step to become a great team, a great club, a great organization. That is the one. But win one competition, one FA Cup.
Wouldn't have been surprised. They'd have been delighted if they'd have got a draw Palace out of the situation. But you heard there from Pep Guardiola just eulogising about his team's consistency. You know, you can't steamroller over every team. There has to be a different way of winning, and you saw that in the last 10 to 15 minutes there of the game. It was a little bit old school. They went into the corners, they wasted a little bit of time. It was a little bit tense, but he did also mention there that the consistency, and he loves the Premier League more than the Champions League because the consistency of his team, that rebuild. I mean, like Ferguson, Mourinho, I think they've won back-to-back Premier Leagues. He's not quite achieved that yet. He might do this year. So if he can do that and rebuild again, he'll probably think this is probably one of his greatest achievements.
Manchester City got the win earlier. Can Liverpool follow suit? 0-0 against Chelsea at the break. The second half. You are listening to Premier League Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Alexander-Arnold again to return it. Mo Salah in space, heads it goalwards. Oh, Lloris has missed it. It's gone in. Off Alderweireld, I think, for the own goal. Liverpool back in front with 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to play. Scenes of jubilation, of celebration, of relief more than anything at Anfield. Somehow they have found a way.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
He's knocked up for Brighton, edge of the area, on his left foot. Curly one. Oh, it's a stunner. Anthony Knockout gives Brighton the lead again. In a goal that will be played time and time again. There can't have been too many better hits in this derby over the years. It flies into the top corner and Matt Ryan flies down the pitch to join in the celebration.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
It's Ward-Prowse! It's in! It's magnificent from James Ward-Prowse. He, like Valeri, has scored for the second game running. It's another magnificent free kick.
Hazard into the corner! What a goal from Eden Hazard! That was brilliant from the Belgian. Chelsea have huffed and puffed, and out of nowhere, an inkling, a tiny gap in the corner, sent a low curling effort beyond Patricio into the left corner of the net. That is brilliant from the little maestro.
Premier League Live, brought to you by Talk Sport Live.
The Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it. Rashford hits it. Oh, it's a goal. It's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Cardiff City legend Danny Gavidan joins us on the preview show. He's got some new teeth. The former Millwall captain Matt Lawrence with us on the preview show. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is on the preview show this week.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Chelsea from Anfield. I'm your host, Phil Blacker. Alongside me is the former Manchester United, Portsmouth and Republic of Ireland midfielder, Alan McLaughlin. This is Premier League Live, and the team's returning to the field on Merseyside. Liverpool 0, Chelsea 0 at half-time. It's must-win almost, certainly for Liverpool in the title race. Every game that they will play between now and the end of the season will fall into that category, surely, such is the form of Manchester City, who, with victory at Crystal Palace earlier in the day, moved back above the Reds at the top of the table. Not even a point here would be enough for Liverpool to return to the summit, such is City's superior goal difference. And after today, Manchester City will have that game in hand. That's what's at stake for Liverpool, but plenty riding on it as well for Chelsea as they wait to get the second half started. Eden Hazard and Ruben Loftus-Cheek do so. The Blues from right to left as we look at it in this second period, immediately launching it long, too long actually for Emerson, flying forward from fullback, just unable to collect that and keep it in play. No changes by either side at half-time. Liverpool have Alisson in goal. He's on the ball now on the edge of his 6-yard box, squaring it to his right. And Joel Matip, who's in the centre of the defence alongside Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, the fullbacks. Keita, Fabinho and Henderson on the ball now on their right in midfield. Mo Salah, Roberto Firmino and Sadio Mane completing that Liverpool lineup, and Salah here winning the throw on the Liverpool right, midway inside the Chelsea half to be taken by Trent Alexander-Arnold, back to Matip on halfway and all the way back actually to Alisson just in front of his own penalty area. Kepa's in goal for Chelsea, Azpilicueta, Christensen on for the injured Antonio Rudiger in the first half, with David Luiz alongside him, Emerson completing the back four, N'Golo Kanté, Jorginho and Ruben Loftus-Cheek in midfield, Willian Azar and Hudson-Odoi the front three for Chelsea, who will be satisfied so far, won't they, Alan McLaughlin, with how the game has gone?
Yeah, they certainly will be, and they'll be satisfied as well. They've created one or two opportunities on the counter-attack, but they'll be mindful they're playing against a very good team, and they have to be so concentrated and focused in this second half.
And there is danger here. Mo Salah looking to link with Mane. It's partially cleared by Chelsea as far as Naby Keita on that left-hand side. Robertson to deliver low. Out by Azpilicueta, went back by Keita against Hudson-Odoi. Robertson just keeps it in play right on the touchline and still has it with plenty in advanced positions in red. He goes back to Virgil van Dijk. Fabinho infield where Joel Matip has much more space inside the centre circle. Clips it forward first time over the top of the Chelsea defence. Keita getting to it ahead of Hudson-Odoi and bringing Robertson back into it. Liverpool patient and probing here. Fabinho. There's Jorginho for company. Goes back to Virgil van Dijk. To his right is Matip. The centre-backs combine inside the Chelsea half, both of them. And now Trent Alexander-Arnold with that raking crossfield ball. Naby Keita stretching for it. Flung out his foot to try and bring it under control. Couldn't quite reach it, but acknowledges the intent from Alexander-Arnold, who had seen him in space.
And I've mentioned a couple of times, Callum Hudson-Odoi has got to be mindful of that crossfield pass, because again, he's just lack of experience sometimes, just gets caught ball watching, and particularly Robertson, with him and Naby Keita combined well, it could be an area that certainly Liverpool could exploit.
Now attacking down that left again. Keita and Mane combining. Now Roberto Firmino shifts it infield to Jordan Henderson. Mo Salah on the edge of the box. David Luiz with him. Loftus-Cheek trying to get a foot in as well. Out as far as Alexander-Arnold, who was attempting to strike it first time. It was blocked really as soon as it left his boot. Willian flying out from the back to charge it down, and it spins out of play all the way on this near side for the Liverpool throw there right, which Alexander-Arnold waits to take. Down a couple of paces away from the corner flag. In towards Roberto Firmino, it almost fell for Naby Keita trying to strike it on the right foot. It didn't quite come down quickly enough for him. Chelsea got to him quickly, and Keita never troubling the target.
I think he's well within his rights to have a go there. It was a difficult strike. It came in. He's had to take the volley on. I will say that the Chelsea players got out and closed him down there. We're just having a look at Rudiger. gingerly making his way to the bench, and certainly looks to me that his season will probably be over with that unfortunate injury he's picked up.
It's an easy conclusion to come to on the evidence of what we saw with that injury in the first half. Rudiger helped to his seat on the bench for the second half. Christensen on, limiting Chelsea's options for later. We'll play 4 minutes of the second half at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Chelsea 0 on Premier League Live at TalkSport Live is our Twitter address. Demanches tweeted us crucial 45 minutes in the history of Liverpool Football Club, predicting this will finish 0-0. Let us know your thoughts at TalkSport Live. Here's Mo Salah on the ball for Liverpool, just inside the Chelsea half. Roberto Firmino to his right, shifts it infield. Fabinho threatened to open up for him for a moment before he was closed down by Willian. He has Alexander-Arnold in support and space to his right. This is Alexander-Arnold on the left foot as he delivered the cross, which he's headed out by Azpilicueta. Chase on for Naby Keita. He will get to it first to try and keep the pressure on for Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk back towards Keita again. And now infield to Fabinho. Chelsea having to do an awful lot of work in the early stages of the second half without the ball. They were used to that for prolonged spells of the first half. Now Mo Salah cutting in from the right touchline on the left foot in towards Firmino, who was trying to backheel it back towards Salah, aware that his teammate had continued his run. There wasn't quite the space for that. Alexander-Arnold wins it back against Loftus-Cheek. Emerson hucks it clear, but it's straight up in the air, really comes down off the shoulder of Fabinho into the path of Roberto Firmino. Loftus-Cheek with him, Henderson in support, has it for Liverpool. Drifting back infield and then goes back to the halfway line. And Virgil van Dijk, Chelsea chasing shadows at times. They just can't get hold of the ball in this second half. It's with Naby Keita to Fabinho as Liverpool try and impose themselves. Weren't quite able to do that at any stage of the first 45. Salah taking over. Another flick in behind by Roberto Firmino. Now Jordan Henderson wide on the right, delivers the cross. And it's a free header, far post for Mane. And Liverpool lead. This sustained spell of pressure at the start of the second half is rewarded by a goal for Sadio Mane. Liverpool's joint top scorer now in the Premier League. He was the one that applied the far post finish after a patient period of pressure. Some start to the second half for Liverpool. They're back on course to return to the top of the table. It's the breakthrough at Anfield.
Well, that is a brilliant goal from Liverpool. It really is. 5 minutes in possession of the ball virtually. Chelsea failing to clear the lines properly, and that is a wonderful ball from Henderson. That is a truly brilliant ball to the far post. Positive play. Emerson got himself in a little bit of a pickle, but that little stand up to the far post, and that is on a plate for Mane, and he isn't going to miss from there. No real cover at the far post, but the quality of the ball to the far post was excellent, and just the start Liverpool wanted.
Some statement they've made at the start of this second half, really turning on the star, really applying the pressure and finding a way through where there had been no way in the first half. And an extra little bit of quality. They were on top and they've made it count, and Sadio Mane scores his 18th Premier League goal of the season. He's level now with Mo Salah. He's the man in form in front of goal. He was there to find the finish, but made wonderfully well by Henderson. And half a dozen players really involved in the build-up prior to that, during the sustained spell of possession that preceded it. Liverpool deal the first blow onto the jaw of Chelsea here. Another blow to Manchester City as well in the title race, and there might be more to follow, having opened up the Blues. Liverpool in the mood for more. Through Mo Salah down the right, David Luiz steps across. Crucial stage here. Chelsea have to try and clear their heads and battle back, because they need the points in the chase for the Champions League as well. They would have been, as we touched on, content with how the first half had gone, but more required now. There's David Luiz, who chests it down on the edge of his penalty area. Emerson to clear. And it might take a while for Chelsea heads to clear.
Well, it might do. And the advanced position of Henderson really paid dividends there. Again, his energies are on forward.
It's Mo Salah! 2-0! It's a peach into the far top corner for Mo Salah. 2 for Liverpool in as many minutes. A statement of intent in the title race. They've turned on the power in the second half, and too much for Chelsea. It's a stunning goal for Mo Salah to double the lead.
Well, that's caught everyone and myself completely unawares. He cuts inside, and Kepa has no idea. He doesn't think he's going to shoot. He thinks he's going to play a 1-2, and he hits the sweetest of strikes with his left foot. It goes at Kepa, then it moves away from him, and Kepa has no chance. What a strike that is.
Well, he picked up possession wide on the right-hand side. He could infield away from Emerson onto that left foot. He had been struggling for goals recently. Not quite the same force of last season, they were saying. Well, he's joined Sergio Aguero as the Premier League's leading goal scorer for this season now, with one to remember, and one that matters so much. It's given Liverpool breathing space.
Well, that's a brilliant strike, it really is. Kepa actually just set his feet as if he was just going to expect a different play, and as he's sprung himself down, that's when Salah's hit it. And what a strike. Everyone around Liverpool is dancing around because the quality of that strike is phenomenal. It really is. He's had that miss hit with his shin pad in the first half where it'd be disappointing he's not actually scored. But to take that on with the confidence he has and to score against his former team, as you'd expect.
And here they come again, looking to wrap it up already. The ball in from the right towards Virgil van Dijk, who was thundering in beyond the far post. It's just nicked away from him. Chelsea concede only the corner, but they just got no answer at the moment. This is stunning from Liverpool, who toiled throughout that first 45 in search of a breakthrough. They really have stepped it up when faced with possibly the highest hurdle remaining in the running. They are soaring over it if this passage of play, this period of play is anything to go by. They've got a corner on the far side. We've only played 10 minutes of the second half, and it goes from Alexander-Arnold, punched clear by Kepa. 10 minutes in which Liverpool have taken the game away from Chelsea. N'Golo Kanté tries to bring it clear. He was caught in possession though by Naby Keita. Fabinho will be kept in by Mane on that far side, and Jorginho has to come across and cut it out. He's actually got the decision there and got the throw. And Chelsea are going to make a change, responding to the changing circumstances at Anfield, and they will bring on Gonzalo Higuain up top. Callum Hudson-Odoi, the man to make way. They have a centre forward on the field, but has the damage already been done?
I think it has. I'm not sure why that substitution's been made, if I'm honest. We did comment, didn't we? Chelsea were up quite early. They looked quite calm. They were chatting amongst themselves. I think they were quite looking forward to the second half, but they've been hit by a roller coaster of a Liverpool team who are just really taking the game to him. And Mo Salah just trying to get over, still getting over the strike. It was a wonderful strike.
And there he is again, linking with Roberto Firmino. Ball into the box, just cut out by Jorginho. Liverpool look like they're going to score with every attack right now.
Well, it looks like Hazard now has gone to the left. Higuain up the top. I just think it was a matter of leaving it a little bit longer. I know Liverpool have started well, but if you can't get the ball, I'm not sure how Higuain can affect the game.
There's Roberto Firmino for Liverpool. He's going to have a go as well, and it whistles just wide. It was only a fraction away from a third. Chelsea's problems are very much defensive right now. They just can't cope with Liverpool. Firmino's already seen Mane and Salah get on the score sheet. He wants a piece of the action as well.
Yeah, Kepa there, he drives across. He's panicking, he's worried, he thinks he's dropping in the corner. I think certainly there for Firmino, he thought anything you can do, I can do better, possibly. In the Mo Salah situation there, didn't quite catch it well enough.
Chelsea reeling here. David Luiz in possession on the edge of his own penalty area. Goes cross-field. Azpilicueta tries to clear it upfield. First touch for Higuain brings N'Golo Kanté into it. He's covered good ground down the right, but there's no way past Virgil van Dijk. It will break into the feet of Jorginho. Now Loftus-Cheek. Back they go to David Luiz on the halfway line. Loftus-Cheek again. Mo Salah tracking in, doing his defensive duties as well. Emerson to advance, cutting in from the left for Chelsea. Loftus-Cheek had continued his run. Eden Hazard now stationed wide on the left, taking on Mo Salah. Couldn't find a way past him though, but it will go for the Chelsea corner as we head rapidly towards the hour mark.
And that's the first corner of the game, believe it or not. That's the first corner of the game. That's very unusual. You get a Premier League game and no corners in the first half.
And Chelsea's first corner, forced by Eden Hazard, getting ready to take it. Can they summon something, and soon? In by Hazard, it was a good ball, and it was comfortably cleared by Joel Matip. As if Chelsea could get something, it would change the dynamics again. Hazard, as he stayed onside here, he brings the ball under control. Oh, it hits the post! Right-footed effort bounces back off the post with Alisson beaten. He got in behind that Liverpool defence. And there is the illustration of how they can't afford to switch off for a second. Liverpool might just have got away with it, though. Eden Hazard, Chelsea's top scorer, with the opportunity to get them right back in the game. The pass was pinged from the centre circle. He made the run beyond Robertson. Again, it was the closest of calls. He beat the keeper, but not the frame of the goal.
Well, it's a beautiful touch, and you've got to applaud Alisson there, getting out just enough just to make Hazard play a fraction earlier than he wanted to. Just a little glance, eyes fixed firm in the ball. He thinks he scored. I think everyone thinks he scored. It's hit right in the centre of the post. It hasn't hit the inside, and a let off for Liverpool there. Just a little word from Chelsea to say we're still in the game.
Now Fabinho. Liverpool feeling they need the third to put it beyond doubt. Williams just overrun this back into his own box. Back it goes for Kepa to clear, but it will be returned by the head of Robertson, flicked on towards Mane, with Chelsea appealing for offside, carries through to Kepa anyway, who releases it quickly. Real tempo about the game as Chelsea do try and respond here. They have summoned something. We saw in the earlier game, Crystal Palace looked completely out of it at 2-0 down and set up what, until Gabriel Jesus' late third, was proving to be an early finish when they got a goal back out of nothing. Chelsea still have over half an hour here to find something. It's in by Willian towards Hazard, hits Alisson with it, spins away just behind Hazard, who couldn't collect his score from the rebound. But that is two hugely presentable opportunities for the Chelsea top scorer in a matter of moments, and he's not quite been able to capitalise with either of them.
Well, that's a lovely ball in. I think it just bounced in front of Hazard. If he gets it full on the volley, I think he has a better chance of beating Alisson. Credit to the keeper, though. He stood his ground. It's a great save. It's such an important save. But I think if we get a replay, you'll just see it just bounce in front of Hazard. It just makes it slightly a little bit more difficult. But he'll still be disappointed, a world-class player, that he hasn't finished that one off. Two chances. The game's not dead yet.
There goes Hazard once more. He is everywhere right now, trying to spark this Chelsea attempt at a comeback. One-touch passing involving Jorginho, Conte and Higuain. Azpilicueta joins in. Wide on the right is Willian. Azpilicueta to cut it back. There were three in the middle, who's just too far in front of any of them. And Mo Salah now tries to do his defensive duties on the edge of the box. He got to it first. He's brought it away. Rides the challenge of Emerson. Finds Roberto Firmino and continues his run forward. Firmino instead has gone infield to Sadio Mane. What a game we've got here. 2-0 Liverpool, 61 minutes played on Premier League Live. It really has sparked into life in this second half.
Well, that's three opportunities for Chelsea in 3 minutes.
And another one maybe now for Liverpool. Mo Salah brings it under control on the edge of the box, drifts infield, tries to slip the pass through towards the run of Robertson. Cut out by Willian. Clearance by Christensen as he links with N'Golo Conte. Willian again asking Conte to chase it. He will keep it in play on the Chelsea right. Infield. The ball to Gonzalo Higuain. He shifts it to his left. There's space for Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea surge forward again with Eden Hazard, looking much more threatening since that shift in position. He advances from the touchline, runs at Henderson. Higuain tries to turn on the edge of the box. No space to do that, but it breaks for Willian. Now Jorginho rolls it to his right, and Azpilicueta back in field towards N'Golo Conte. Combines with Jorginho again. David Luiz. Both centre-backs inside the Liverpool half now joining in for Chelsea. He's covered good ground. He slipped it through towards Higuain. Away momentarily from Van Dijk. Tried to turn back where he ran into trouble. Ran the ball away. And Joel Matip was able to clear. Firmino's won it against Jorginho. Roberto Firmino's done well, and then he was trying to find Mane inside the centre circle. It was cut out by N'Golo Conte. Chelsea have the ball back. It is breathless stuff. It's with Jorginho, pings it out wide left. Eden Hazard brings it under control beautifully with the first touch. Squares up here to Alexander-Arnold and then sprints off down the left-hand side. Couldn't quite go around him. Checks back infield. He's looking for support. He's looking maybe for a free kick. Throws up his arms in frustration. There wasn't that support arriving for Chelsea. Nobody could keep up with him really. And Liverpool break. They have it with Keita on the left. Robertson slips it down the line. Left-hand side for Sadio Mane. Christensen with him, not committing to the challenge. Backpedaling. Mane's too tricky for him originally, but Christensen sticking to his task here. Slipped by Mane in towards the run of Robertson once more. Jorginho is there, brings it away on the edge of the penalty area. Takes Fabinho out of the equation with a well-weighted ball into the run of Willian. He's got Higuain ahead of him. Willian still has it. Higuain, well, he was caught on his heels, somebody was looking at Willian asking for the pass. Willian played the pass, and Higuain hadn't continued the run quickly enough to get on the end of it.
He just hasn't got the pace, has he? For that type of run, he hasn't got the pace to run in behind the defence there. I think Liverpool just need to take a moment here. They have both full-backs, well, not so much Trent Alexander-Arnold, because now he has to think about Eden Hazard on this side. But certainly Robertson just needs to sit in for a couple of minutes, because Chelsea over the last 5 to 7 minutes have had far more possession. They've had 3 very good chances, and they just need to take a moment. They've come out of the blocks and got a 2-0 lead, and they're looking for 3 and 4 and 5, and suddenly, if Hazard has his shooting boots on a little bit more, if Higuain actually, he has a lovely chance when he was played in, but he just, for some reason, he just slowed down, and he wasn't quite quick enough. He's a lovely player, and he's a clever player, an intricate player, but he just hasn't got the pace to go and hurt anyone in behind. But Liverpool will be thankful for Alisson as well with a good save. What a wonderful opening 15 minutes to the 20 minutes of the second half.
It's been fabulous, hasn't it? Liverpool leading Chelsea by 2-0. Easy to forget that given the frenzied period of play that we've seen and the way that they have been approaching this. They are getting ready to make a change and bring on Wijnaldum in midfield in a moment. They have it with Roberto Firmino inside the centre circle. 65 played at Anfield on Premier League Live. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 0. Those goals in quick succession from Mane and Salah. Mane is on the ball again here for Liverpool, playing it wide right to Mo Salah to take on the backpedaling Emerson. Left-footed effort from Salah again, trying to catch out Kepa to his left. The goalkeeper, having none of it, is able to make the save and hold on. Salah looking such a threat. He ended his recent drought, didn't he, last weekend against Southampton. He is a man in the mood once more on Merseyside here. Defining moments potentially in the season for both of these sides and their respective aims. Liverpool, as it stands, will go 2 points clear again of Manchester City, albeit after this having played a game more. But there's a couple of chances for Eden Hazard, showing that this is far from finished yet.
Yeah, it just bounced in front there. It just made it a little bit more difficult. If actually he mishits it a little bit more, it probably sneaks in the corner.
Well, Liverpool are making their change, as mentioned, in the midfield, and it is Naby Keita that's coming off to make way for Wijnaldum. He's been a regular under Jurgen Klopp for much of the season. It's only the third time we've seen him off the bench in the Premier League in the current campaign. 28 starts for the Dutchman. And a model of consistency, really, for most of the season. Just in recent weeks seems to have lost that regular starting spot, but he's on for the closing quarter, plus a little bit more. At Anfield here, Liverpool on the ball again with Mane, infield towards Salah, first touch. He's into the path of Jordan Henderson, will get it back from Henderson. And Salah with rather more work to do now because Chelsea have reorganised. Here's Robertson to ping it in left-footed. David Luiz cuts it out, gets to it ahead of Henderson. Clearance is only as far as Fabinho. Salah will again stretch to reach it. Edge of the penalty area, shifts it infield left-footed for Jordan Henderson. Fabinho towards Roberto Firmino, right on that left. With him is Willian, in support as well Mane. Closed down by a combination of Willian and Azpilicueta, who's the one that prevents the cross from coming in. The Chelsea captain gets the block. And Liverpool settle for the throw, taken very quickly by Robertson. They're still playing at a real pace. They're not necessarily trying to close the game out at 2-0 in front. They do want more.
Well, it's important that they've managed to get their foot on the ball, because Chelsea had 7 or 8 minutes of scintillating play, created some chances. Now Liverpool, they don't need to be too adventurous now. They just need to retain the ball, don't take any chances, and just try and keep the ball away from Chelsea, who reacted quite well to going 2-0 down.
We have a quarter of the game to go. 2-0 Liverpool. Here they come again, looking for Roberto Firmino. It's well cut out by Emerson, just in front of his own penalty area. I'm sure he got there first, and then clears left-footed towards Eden Hazard, over his head, over Matip as well. Hazard then setting off in pursuit to try and put the pressure on Alexander-Arnold, but the whistle going against him. Very animated Jurgen Klopp on the touchline, really going through his 200th matches. Liverpool manager, maybe one of the most important, given how tight it is going into to this fixture today. They haven't beaten Chelsea here since 2012. This will be some time to start.
It just gives them a great chance with Cardiff away, Huddersfield home, Newcastle, Wolves. I mean, they're all 4 winnable games. Yeah. They have to win them games to keep up with with Manchester City, who have got undoubtedly more difficult running in terms of the derby, and Spurs as well. So vitally important that they do get the 3 points today. Vitally important that they hadn't conceded there in that 5 or 7 minute spell as well, just to give Chelsea some foothold back in the game, giving them opportunity. They seem to take the sting out of it in some way if they can.
And they've succeeded to an extent in the last few minutes in doing that, because you're right, had Hazard taken one of those chances, we would have had a very different game, and he might have another opportunity here. A long ball finds him on the Chelsea left, bringing it under control, twisting and turning away from Alexander-Arnold, flashes it across the face of goal. Willian will bring it under control on the far side of the penalty area. Wijnaldum had read his intentions though, as Willian tried to cut it back for his captain Azpilicueta. Wijnaldum got a foot to it first and then brings it away on the Liverpool left. So one of the reasons why they've brought him on at this stage. The clearances cut out by the head of Emerson. Loftus-Cheek, though dispossessed by Roberto Firmino, did well to win it and finds Mo Salah. Mane was attempting to make the run for him through the middle. Salah's misplaced the pass too close to Kepa, and Chelsea will try and come again through David Luiz. They're looking for Hazard at every opportunity. Understandably, their top scorer this season. He's got 7 career goals against Liverpool down the years as well. He does tend to love this particular fixture. He has had his chances today. Roberto Firmino runs into David Luiz. He claims he was simply standing his ground, but he has conceded the free kick.
Well, Firmino did brilliantly about a minute ago to track back and help his team out, and that's been the big difference. I saw Firmino when he first came to Liverpool, couldn't really get around the pitch, didn't have that baseline fitness, but certainly he's been fairly quiet today, but he's linked play very well for Liverpool. He actually does it very, very well, and he can get back in, he can run, he can chase, he can harry. Free kick given away by David Luiz there, just raised his arm across Firmino.
20 minutes to go, taken short. Trent Alexander-Arnold touched it to Salah, who touched it back again. Alexander-Arnold and it looping into the danger area, but Andreas Christensen under pressure as Fabinho made the run to try and get on the end of it. Just didn't quite have the angle, but it came off Christensen. It will be a Liverpool corner. And just wait whilst Matip and Van Dijk make their way further forward here to try and crowd out Kepa on his goal line.
Zonal marking from Chelsea as well. Packed in that 6-yard box, virtually every Chelsea player.
Here it comes then from Alexander-Arnold, an in-swinger, that right foot, Higuain on the near post, trying to clear it out only as far as Mo Salah, blocked by N'Golo Kanté, right on the edge of the box. Henderson will look to return it, swings it out to the far side again. Alexander-Arnold brings it down, loops it back in, first time right-footed, headed out by Emerson. Henderson has won it ahead of Kanté, just reacted quicker. Alexander-Arnold has done brilliantly away from Higuain, he's into the penalty area, onto the right foot. And then, although it was on target, he didn't connect with venom. It sails straight through for Kepa Arrizabalaga, and they'll have to hurry back into position and get across to the other side of the field as Hazard looks to wide the challenge of Mane and then draws the foul, wins the free kick with 71.5 minutes played on Premier League Live. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 0. Liverpool going back top as it stands ahead of Manchester City. And it will put the pressure on Chelsea in the race for the Champions League. Starting 4th. Arsenal, of course, in action tomorrow night against Watford. Could move level on points with them. Looks like Chelsea are getting ready to make a change and bring on Ross Barkley, the former Everton man, back on Merseyside. There has been Mersey misery for Chelsea recently. They've only lost one of their previous 7 games in the Premier League, and that was by this 2-0 scoreline at Everton not so long ago. Henderson's clearance, well, it ends up being a clearance, flies out of play on the far side, and Liverpool, it does look like, have been adept at dealing with that frenzied period of pressure in the end. They seem to have seen off that particular spell.
Yeah, that was important, it really was, because I thought Chelsea might have thrown the towel in at that point, going 2-0 down. And I don't think they were, they looked relaxed, and they just got caught very, very quickly by a lightning start from Liverpool and really didn't cope with it. It'll be interesting to see actually who Ross Barkley comes on for. Will it be Loftus-Cheek? Probably he'll be the one to make way. I can't see him taking off Jorginho.
There's Hazard to Loftus-Cheek. Would be, I'd imagine, the obvious contender to come off. Goes back to David Luiz, still inside the Liverpool half. He goes cross-field. Willian stretching for it, brings it under control on his chest. Just in from the touchline before squaring up to Andy Robertson. Azpilicueta offering support. Willian used him by not using him, really. He's got infield instead to Jorginho, looking for the run of Eden Hazard. Matip got there first. Van Dijk completes the clearance. Teamwork from the centre-backs. Nobody for Liverpool inside the Chelsea half there as Kepa comes a long way outside of his penalty area to gather it up. Luiz goes forward. Higuain asking Emerson to chase it. The fullback actually is the furthest forward for Chelsea. Alexander-Arnold clears. Mo Salah brings it under control. Infield to Roberto Firmino. They work the 1-2 well. Henderson's covered good ground in support as well. Salah rolls it into his path. Forced wide on the right-hand side by Christensen. Delivers the cross too deep over the head of Mane, and there's nobody beyond him on that far side. Willian is there for Chelsea, who will keep it in play on that far touchline. That goes Azpilicueta to his goalkeeper Arrizabalaga. Now Jorginho, still on the edge of his own box though. Into the foot of Conte. Works it well, combining with Willian to create some space. The surge into down that Chelsea right. He's into the Liverpool half now. Comes back infield. Rides the challenge of Robertson. With a pin ball in the midfield of Jorginho. Henderson then going down. Liverpool get the free kick and they're getting closer to a vital victory here. We're heading for the closing quarter of an hour at Anfield. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 0.
Just got caught across the ankle there. Henderson just at his work rate to get back. He just got caught there. It's a little bit of a painful one. I actually don't think Chelsea have played. They've been hit by, particularly the second goal, a wonderful goal, and a blitz from Chelsea, from Liverpool in the opening 5 or 7 minutes of the second half. I don't think they've played too badly in terms of what they've tried to do. But the scoreline's 2-0 to Liverpool, and that's been deserved by them because they've been the most forceful team throughout the game. Ross Barkley to come on. I'm sure he'll get a lovely ovation. Loftus-Cheek off. He'll feel a little bit aggrieved from there. I'd like to see possibly Jorginho off then and be a little bit braver. Jorginho's done okay, but they're 2-0 down. They need to take a little bit more of a gamble and a risk. Chelsea, that's always been the criticism, certainly of Jorginho and his relationship with Sarri. They're 2-0 down, go for it. A few extra, or take a more defensive player off and put a more attack-minded player on.
And of course, because of the injury to Rudiger in the first half, there are no further options available to Maurizio Sarri. That was his final substitution.
I'm sure with the strength in depth they've got somebody, surely, that could go on the bench within their chasm of players they have.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. Juggling their resources. The return game against Slavia Prague will come on Thursday. Henderson coming off here for Liverpool. They're not going to take any chances with the captain. They have these huge games coming thick and fast as well. Wonderful ovation for the skipper. Wasn't even born the last time that Liverpool won the league title. As we've mentioned, he was suspended when they suffered that terminal defeat as it proved against Chelsea. The last time they were within touching distance of the title 5 years ago. He gets a big bear hug from Jurgen Klopp as he makes his way off. James Milner on. Of course, Mo Salah, the man who scored what looks to be the insurance second goal for Liverpool today, started for Chelsea that day at Anfield.
Well, a key moment of the game, really. Henderson's contribution to the first goal, the opening goal, the goal that lifted the roof at Anfield, really. It was a great run. It was great energy. And then more than that, it was a brilliant ball to the far post, and it showed a lovely deft touch and awareness of where the ball should go and the type of ball and the quality at the end of the day. And they have a very capable player, don't they, onto the pitch. Mr. Reliable, James Milner, can play anywhere.
It's not a bad replacement to be able to call on at this stage to try and help them over the line. 13 minutes of the 90 to go. Liverpool leading Chelsea by 2 goals to 0.
Azpilicueta, you have to be careful because he's already on a booking, and I can lip read and know exactly what he said to Michael Oliver there, and I'm pretty sure Michael Oliver knows what he said to him, and that just annoys me sometimes because it is clear dissent.
He won't be relaying it on the radio. Liverpool go back here to Alisson. Looks for Roberto Firmino. Wijnaldum helps it on to Mo Salah. Alexander-Arnold chips it into space where Roberto Firmino had made the run across, covering effectively was Christensen, as he needed to be. Just got there first ahead of Roberto Firmino as Liverpool search for the space, which may well materialise in these closing stages to put this beyond doubt once and for all.
And that was a lovely run from Firmino. He's cushioned the first header down, and he's not waited, he's running behind.
So has taken the corner short for Alexander-Arnold, the man that usually takes them. Instead it was teed up for him to deliver the cross to create more of an angle. Whipped it in right-footed. It was headed out by David Luiz beyond the far post for another Liverpool corner. So they're not going to be in any great hurry to take here. Looks like Milner will go across to do so after his introduction. A player who actually scored against Chelsea in his very first appearance against them as a 16-year-old. Would you believe he's not managed another goal against the Blues in 34 appearances that have followed. He's on here for Liverpool. He's taken over the captain's armband from the man that he replaced as well, Henderson, and he will take the corner kick. Right-footed from the Liverpool left, in towards the near post. Mane beaten in the air by Ross Barkley, but cleared as far as Milner once more. Robertson hoists it high, deep into the danger area. Kepa's come, punching it clear, not convincingly. Only to Joel Matip, who couldn't quite capitalise on that, but Salah's found Roberto Firmino to spin and strike it, left-footed effort. The goalkeeper down quickly to his right to make a relatively routine stop on that occasion, and then he releases it very quickly as well for Willian to slip it into the run of Eden Hazard down the Chelsea right. Milner going with him. Hazard trying to tee it up. For Barkley was making the run in the middle. He was the closest to getting on the end of it. Alexander-Arnold got there first for Liverpool. Another safety first clearance behind.
Good counter-attack from Hazard and Chelsea. And again, that's just Liverpool, just have to be careful, throwing men forward. The last thing they want now is Chelsea to score a goal now in the last 10 or 15 minutes and just throw a little bit of doubt and a little bit of worry at Anfield.
Willian in from the corner, cleared effectively by Liverpool, and now they're trying counter with Mo Salah. He's in full flight away from Conte, across steps Emerson, just to nick it away from it, up to the throw on the far side. Otherwise Mo Salah was away on it, in on goal against his former club.
Well, that's classic full-back covering, defending from Emerson there. Again, a lightning break again. The energy from both teams, really. Liverpool have the more direct, strong players. Chelsea really only have Hazard, who can actually counter-attack, and Willian can hurt you. But Liverpool have 3 or 4 more players that can do that and get it behind and running behind.
10 minutes of the 90 to play. Premier League Live. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 0. Liverpool combined with Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold down their right-hand side. Chelsea will certainly be vulnerable in the chase for the Champions League if they are beaten here. They moved up into the top 3 with a win against West Ham on Monday for the first time actually since the start of December. They'll be just 2 points ahead of Manchester United, who will have a game in hand, albeit against Manchester City. They'll be just 3 points clear of Arsenal, who will have 2 games in hand, including their match tomorrow against Watford. And they will be a point behind Tottenham, who will also have a game in hand. There goes Azpilicueta to chase back, and the pressure from Robertson, one full-back, breathing down the neck of the other. And it was all Azpilicueta could do to prevent the corner and just nick it out of play. For the Liverpool throw, taken quickly by Sadio Mane. As Chelsea missed out on the top 4 last season, as they have in 2 of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, they'll certainly want to finish in the top 4. It'll be a minimum requirement for Maurizio Sarri. And again, if they miss it, they'll probably have to question, and as been many times before, the managers whether he'll still be there the following season.
Stronger run from Mane as he tried to whip in the cross from the left. Again, it's Cannon behind, but Liverpool have Chelsea where they want them right now. They're being played in Chelsea territory. Going to go back actually to 2002 for the last time that Chelsea missed the top 4 in successive seasons. That is a real risk here. Robertson delivers the cross. Van Dijk could come forward for the corner and stayed for, couldn't quite dig it out from under his feet. Higuain clears, and as far as Alexander-Arnold, Mo Salah in space midway inside the Chelsea half. Roberto Firmino to his right is the preferred option. Has it at his feet, shifts it infield, bit of space for Milner to try and slip it through. Wijnaldum had made the run, tried to backheel it towards Roberto Firmino, didn't quite have the space for that, too many bodies in the way, but we'll claim another corner here. Wijnaldum as he tries to make a difference on what is actually his 100th Premier League appearance for Liverpool after he was summoned as a second half substitute. Again, it's a change of taker for the corner. It's going to be Mo Salah this time. Van Dijk makes his way forward, as does Matip. They're still bringing the centre-backs forward, even at this juncture. And Salah goes low. It wasn't a good one. It was comfortably cleared on the near post by Ross Barkley. Milner will meet it, though. Alexander-Arnold stretching to keep it in play. Tight to the touchline, he does so. Milner goes back into his own half, and Robertson inside the centre circle. Chelsea, who were so close through Eden Hazard on a couple of occasions, looked to have run out of ideas. They were almost gifted a chance by a slip from Robertson. It was in similar territory to 5 years ago, that Steven Gerrard slip, which proved so costly. Liverpool went on to lose 2-0 that day. They're 2-0 up here and they get away with it. And well, there has been a very different story 5 years on.
Yeah, a little slip there. Higuain had no idea that Willian had actually made a run on the outside there, and it was a better pass to play. But you've got to credit Liverpool. They have been the better side overall in the game. Chelsea haven't disgraced themselves today. They were just caught flat-footed in the opening 5-7 minutes of the second half, and the more power and dominance and willingness to get forward has been more prevalent from Liverpool, and that's why they're currently 2-0 up. But they still need to be careful. It's a strange game. It just takes one silly mistake, men committing forward, and Chelsea, last thing you want to do is give them a bit of a lifeline in the last 5 or 8 minutes of the game.
Here comes Chelsea with Jorginho. Leon trying to help it forward. Generally, there's been little between these sides. 5 of the last 8 league meetings had ended 1-1, including at Stamford Bridge earlier this season. Eden Hazard put Chelsea in front. He's not been able to get them back in the game so far today, despite his chances. It's Mane now for Liverpool, just too far in front of Wijnaldum. Emerson there on the edge of his own penalty area. Barkley's under pressure, and partly as a result of that, he's given the ball back to Sadio Mane, midway inside the Chelsea half still. James Milner for Liverpool. All they really need to do going into these final 5 is just to keep hold of the ball. Milner and Alexander-Arnold combine. Now Fabinho goes back to his full-back again, Trent Alexander-Arnold. He works the 1-2 with Fabinho. He's got space to assess his options. He goes cross-field towards Roberto Firmino, brings it down on the chest. Acrobatic attempt to scoop it over the head of Willian, just to keep hold of the ball, really. Well, this is confident stuff from Liverpool. This really is exactly what they need in the circumstances. Holding on to the ball and patiently probing for an opening if one materialises. They don't need to force it now. At 2-0 in front, they still have it with Fabinho. Mane lays it off towards Salah, attempting to return it. In the end, Azpilicueta's just able to let it go and shepherd it back to his goalkeeper.
Well, I'm not sure why Chelsea have not really gambled and put someone else up front. Olivier Giroud, maybe throw him on up there, just a different dimension, just something different. There's no shame in it. There's nothing against the rules that say you can't do it. I know it might be against your philosophy. Your philosophy at the minute is you're 2-0 down, and maybe by just changing something up, taking off that holding midfield player when things are going great, it's great. That's not going to work for Higuain. He's got no chance of getting that, and you become too one-dimensional. So, change up occasionally.
It's been one of the consistent criticisms that Maurizio Sarri really hasn't in all season, that he hasn't tended to have a plan B.
Well, no, it's plan A or plan A, and that's exactly it. And if plan A's not working, he's not prepared to go to any other thing than a plan A. So, again, times like this in the game where they've actually done okay, I said it goes against his principles. He's obviously a strong man, that's the way he wants to do things. But ultimately, if you don't get that 4th spot, then you've ultimately failed at Chelsea.
This is set to be a 6th successive away defeat for them against Big Six opposition in these head-to-heads. Outside of Stamford Bridge, it just hasn't worked for them this season. Still scrapping for something here, but Higuain couldn't make it stick. Van Dijk launches it long. Chelsea rapidly running out of time. It's a huge clearance from Virgil van Dijk. And Kepa has been put under pressure by Mane and gets away with one. He was waiting for the ball to bounce. It didn't do so inside his own area. Kepa Arrizabalaga there, and he was dispossessed by Mane. The ball just ran away from Sadio Mane and went beyond the byline before he could collect, with the Chelsea goalkeeper hopelessly out of his penalty area, and for a moment there, after a complete miss kick, out of the equation.
Yeah, it's a little bit unlucky there because it was such an awkward ball for him. It was a big bounce. He was waiting for it to drop for him to volley. And of course, you've got someone like Sadio Mane running down on you, who's very, very quick, and you're waiting for a ball to drop to you. There's every chance you can make an error, and he's actually kicked the bottom of Sadio Mane's boot there.
He gets away with it with 2.5 minutes of the 90 to play. Williams giving it away though, straight to Robertson.
But that's that one-dimensional play, and again, it's fine when it's going okay and it's 0-0. 1-0, you're still in the game. But then when you get the 2-0 down, it's too easy for Liverpool. They have the high press, they're keeping possession, and it's a lot more difficult for the Chelsea players to get out.
That goes Mo Salah to Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool have it with Fabinho inside their own half. Further forward, wide on the right is Wijnaldum, who brings it under control neatly and then keeps hold of it. Finds Fabinho. Alexander-Arnold. There's a couple of minutes of the 90 now on Premier League Live. Liverpool going 2 points clear again after this. This most compelling of title races continues. Mane moving through the gears into the penalty area. Despite the presence of Christensen, he got the shot away. Kepa Arrizabalaga was right behind it and got 2 gloves to it, couldn't hold it. Mane looking to really set the seal in some style for Liverpool heading towards stoppage time. He was too hot really for Christensen to handle.
He was. Brilliant play, direct play. Again, you can't beat pace and power, and that's what Sadio Mane has. Pace and power, drives it past, positive play. Substitution for Liverpool.
Mo Salah coming off. Xherdan Shaqiri will just get a couple of minutes or so. Salah's second is what may ultimately have settled it. That sensational strike, really curling effort so soon after Mane had made the breakthrough, from which Chelsea have never quite recovered. They did threaten to do so in the immediate aftermath, but the former Chelsea man having the significant say against the Blues today. Shaqiri will do well to impact this. He has been mainly restricted to this sort of cameo recently. Make himself available for the short ball for Milner from the corner and gets an early touch. Xherdan Shaqiri goes back down the line with it to Robertson. Now Milner. Robertson again. They're keeping Chelsea at arm's length. And they've done a decent job of that in the closing quarter of the contest. Forward by Alexander-Arnold. Chase on for Milner. Liverpool will want another clean sheet to extend their record as the meanest defence in the top flight this season. Only conceded 20 goals all season. This would be an 18th clean sheet if they can see it through. And only stoppage time now separates them from doing so. As Kepa and Jorginho combine for Chelsea on the edge of their own penalty area. The Italian international has it here as Roberto Firmino puts the pressure on. Christensen shifting it wide to his right for his captain, Azpilicueta. And we will have just 3 minutes added on. 3 minutes from here between Liverpool and another huge 3 points in the title race. Eden Hazard for Chelsea collecting possession, sets off on a run forward up towards the edge of the penalty area. Does have support from Emerson outside of him, finds the fullback who delivers the cross. It's out by Milner. Barkley will let it drop for Jorginho. Hazard with his back to goal on the edge of the penalty area. Matic getting tight to him, prods it away only into the path of Barkley. Now Emerson again on the Chelsea left, cuts it back in field for Eden Hazard to swing in the cross. It's N'Golo Kanté attacking it, one of the smallest players on the field, rising with Milner to try and meet it on the edge of the 6-yard box. Although he got something on it, it was pretty comfortably gathered up by Alisson, and Milner has stayed down.
I think N'Golo Kanté, just as he's coming to try and head the ball there, he's obviously caught a piece of James Milner with his head. Ball played in early. Not often you see Hazard cross it early. Milner doing a good job defensively. He just gets caught. Yeah, he just gets caught just on the cheekbone there by N'Golo Kanté. Complete accident.
Halfway through the 3 added minutes. Another home win for Liverpool, almost certainly now. They haven't been beaten here in the Premier League since Crystal Palace sprung a surprise in April of 2017, almost 2 years ago. Only Chelsea now after this have ever been on a longer unbeaten run at home in Premier League history. They've been behind at home for just 28 minutes this season of Jurgen Klopp's side. Here's Eden Hazard. Can Chelsea have the final say? It's almost too late now for them to score anything other than a consolation. Willian and Conte combine. Azpilicueta space to set himself on the right. But his cross wasn't convincing. It was cleared by Liverpool as far as Roberto Firmino. Jorginho won it back momentarily. But again, he was quickly closed down. No doubting the desire amongst the Reds' ranks today. That was never going to be an issue. It's forward by David Luiz here. More impressively, they have held their nerve. Fabinho's lost the ball though, runs away into the path of Willian. midway inside the Liverpool half, on the Chelsea right. Azpilicueta outside of him, is away from Robertson. He's got 3 to try and pick out in the middle. Cross cleared by Virgil van Dijk towards either Barkley or Hazard, neither of whom could quite pick up the pieces and get on the end of it as Alexander-Arnold clears out of play for the throw. Liverpool almost over the line.
Yeah, they are, and they deserve the victory. Being patient, being creative, being direct, scored some wonderful goals, 2 great goals at a key time to win the game.
A 5th straight win for Liverpool in the Premier League. They're matching Manchester City stride for stride in a title race, surely heading right to the wire. Neither of the top 2 blinking today as they exchange places again. Liverpool reclaim the leadership with a vital victory here. It looked their toughest fixture remaining. 4 more to follow. Even winning all 4 might not be enough, but Liverpool are determined to try and find out. Jurgen Klopp's 200th match as manager, one of the most important, and it has been negotiated in style. 2 goals in 2 minutes early in the second half from the main men, Mane and Salah, taking this away from Chelsea, whose Champions League hopes suffer a significant setback. They weren't able to respond in the second half. It has finished at Anfield. Liverpool 2, Chelsea 0. Now Jordan Henderson wide on the right, delivers the cross, and it's a free header, far post for Mane, and Liverpool lead. This sustained spell of pressure at the start of the second half is rewarded by a goal for Sadio Mane. It's 2-0. It's a peach into the far top corner for Mo Salah. 2 for Liverpool in as many minutes. A statement of intent in the title race. They've turned on the power in the second half at Anfield. They are too much for Chelsea. It's a stunning goal for Mo Salah to double the lead. As he stayed onside here, he brings the ball under control. Oh, it hits the post. Right-footed effort, bounces back off the post with Alisson beaten. He got in behind that Liverpool defence. And there is the illustration of how they can't afford to switch off for a second. Liverpool might just have got away with it. Chelsea did have those chances in the immediate aftermath of Liverpool's second. That stunning strike from Mo Salah, but once they'd survived that little spell, they were able to coast to victory, a vital victory in the title race, which takes them back top. It was a really impressive statement of intent, wasn't it? As we said, Alan McLaughlin in the commentary at the start of the second half, ultimately winning the game in those minutes of the match.
Yeah, they blew Chelsea away in the opening 5-7 minutes of the second half, really did. Fantastic first goal, a team goal, brilliant ball from Henderson to the far post, and then just a wonderful strike out of nowhere from Mo Salah. And the turn, and probably the key point in the game in terms of how the next 30 minutes would go. The 1v1 chance that Hazard had with Alisson, and Hazard hits the post, it comes back. Now that goes in. I don't think it stops Liverpool the way they play, but it just adds a little bit of edge to the game. Didn't take the chance. Hazard then had another chance not more than 5 minutes later, and it was a bit more difficult for him, bouncing in front of him. But overall, I think over the whole game, more chances, more dynamic play from Liverpool, played on the front foot. Chelsea don't have a plan B, and that's their Achilles heel. If it's great and it's good and it works with plan A, it's fantastic. But when things go awry and they're down and they're chasing, then they haven't got anything else in the tank to offer, and that's Chelsea's big problem. And I think ultimately it might cost them that 4th place spot.
Yeah, it's looking like this could be very costly for them in that respect. A couple of points ahead of Manchester United, 3 points ahead of Arsenal, but both of those sides have their games in hand on them now. Liverpool go back top above Manchester.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking to make it easier to say that there's just one thing on my mind, and I think it's time for you to realize I want you all to myself. Don't wanna share you with nobody else. So give me something to believe. Will you promise me? Will you promise me? Burned me once or twice, I expect them. I just wanna know what your truth is. Will you be the one to break me out of this? I want you all to myself. Don't wanna share you with nobody else. So give me something to believe. Will you promise me? Will you promise me? So give me something to believe. Will you promise me? Will you promise me? Will you promise me?
I'm alone, I'm a broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know. I'm letting go, I'm breaking these walls down, breaking these walls down. If you want adventure, then fly to home. But if you wanna travel, then go alone. Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired of dancing. Fada, fada. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my style. Darling, where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time starts down, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking, you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm doing just the time. turn toward me, look so weak. I've never seen you with such tired eyes. And everything we said we'd be, we just traded for a suit coat and a tie. And underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. You're silent for the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. You're silent for the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. Follow me down, there's no one around. Lay back and take your socks and shoes right off. That natural light is so damn polite, can make you feel just like you were young again. Standing underneath the rows of trees, I can see where the ocean meets the sky. Under our clothes, a fire grows. We are ready for this life of running wild. We're running wild. Underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different.
Идемте, господа.
Командой футбольного клуба «Оренбург» и профессионального футбольного клуба «ЦСКА». Представляем бригаду арбитров сегодняшнего матча. Главный судья, арбитр ФИФА Сергей Лапочкин, город Санкт-Петербург. Помощники, арбитр всероссийской категории Владислав Назаров, город Невиномыск. И арбитр первой категории Адлан Хатуев, город Грозный. Резервный судья, арбитр ФИФА Алексей Яськов, город Москва. Инспектор матча Владимир Янютин, город Москва. Делегат Российской премьер-лиги Александр Разинский, город Москва. Внимание, дорогие друзья! Для первого удара по мячу на поле приглашается известный широкой общественности робот Алеша. Дорогие друзья, от нашего имени мы благодарим Алешу, желаем ему крепкого электронного здоровья, счастья и всего самого-самого доброго. Спасибо, Алеша!
Кирилла Панченко в штангу. А вот ответ, удар Понсе! Понсе! Вы посмотрите, что творит Андрес! Фактически первый момент и сразу же успех! Во-первых, как здорово обработал, как принял и какой удар здесь Шунин. Но при всем уважении, при всем его мастерстве и навыках очень тяжело было Антону. Мяч полетел по такой дуге, причем еще и опускаясь прямо туда, под самую штангу. Еще одна будет подача от Юсупова. Удар поворотом и гол! И гол, и он забивает! У него получилось все-таки, вы посмотрите. Давайте еще раз смотреть. Юсупов, подача. Да, это был Шунич. Тони Шунич сейчас направил мяч по такой траектории, что ни Дюпин, никто другой не мог представить, как его все-таки оттуда не допустить того, чтобы мяч приземлился за линией ворот. И Дюпин бежал, Дюпин с ужасом взирал на то, что мяч отправляется в дальний угол его ворот. Но блестящий удар удается Тони Шуничу. Первый гол.
Классан, разбег! Вот это да! Вот это хладнокровие скандинавское! Вот это железные нервы! Но вот с этой точки, да, мы видим, что действительно там контакт серьезный. Надо же было именно так исполнить. И Сергей Рыжиков прыгал в правый угол, пытаясь угадать, и не угадал.
Акинфеев, второй номер, Фернандес, момент! И мяч попадает в штангу. Вот так вот еще выручает свою команду. Это Джигия, и Бравин, и ЦСКА, и Сигурдсон открывает счет. И 1-0, пока мы с составами разбирались. Мяч влетает в ворота.
Вот начало второго тайма. Но я подозревал, что оно таким будет. Вот просто не разобрались. И мяч при этом попал в голову защитнику Спартака. Потом штанга и перекладина. Потом просто выбить бы мяч, но мяч пролетает между ног Айртону. И вот эпизод этот. И дальше удар Сигурдсона уже по пустым воротам.
Длинная стенка, Марио, штрафной. Укрывает мяч корпусом, прострел! 2-0! Сигурдсон! 2-0!
Может быть, у нас, у наших режиссеров, найдется этот момент, но Олег Кононов попросил Сергея Кузнецова, тренера, своего помощника, отдать мяч вперед, а не Зе Луишу, который вбрасывал аут. Зе Луиш мяч потерял, и отсюда началась эта длинная атака, приведшая к голу. Вот оттуда все это началось, издали.
Да-да-да, все началось с того, что Зе Луиш, мы специально на этом сделали акцент. Зе Луиш на позиции левого полузащитника бросал мяч Айртону. Айртон отдал чужому, действительно, с этого началась голевая атака.
Вспоминая о том матче, когда Ростов выиграл здесь 4-1. Ниокич, Игбун. На этот раз он просто оттеснил защитника. Позвольте пройти. Прошел. Удар в ближний угол. Гол! Сильвестр Игбун забивает под рукой Песнякова, мяч пуская. Конечно, грубая ошибка вратаря. И Ростов теперь вынужден будет много атаковать. И контратаки Уфы мы увидим, разумеется. Ну а пока давайте еще раз посмотрим, как буквально отталкивает Дениса Хаджикадунича, раскручивает следующего соперника Слай, он же Сильвестр Игбун. Сигурдсон игрок-то опытный, но пропустил под удобную ногу еще. Игбун подработал себе мяч и пробил. Дистанция слишком короткая, чтобы так уж совсем уничтожать вратаря за эту бабочку, как мы говорим.
Странно, что не Кичин бьет, он же штатный пенальтист. Ну да ладно.
Удар, гол!
И опять нет сухого матча у Урала, уже 22.
Я все хочу разобраться с моментом.
А вот смотрим. Это Егорычев сзади въехал
вот
и
здесь,
в штрафной.
Да, вот здесь все уже очевидно. Если первый повтор не дал полного понимания, то вот данный повтор абсолютно убедил, что контакт был. Штрафной Данченко. Атака Енисея. Снова Данченко. Такой танец с мячом устраивает. Да, неплохо у него с дриблингом. Зотов. Удар по воротам. Ой, гол! Ой, какой гол! Как пробил Зотов! Что за удар у Александра Зотова? Ну, я просто восхищен, как попал по мячу Зотов, а? Во-первых, Данченко действительно дриблинг устроил, а дальше вот так, еще и мяч на ногу классно лег. Зотов, он с левой пробил, хотя вроде как правша, но удар-то просто великолепный удар Зотова, и 2-0. Енисей обыгрывает Урал в Екатеринбурге. Напрашивается вывод, что вот игра на неделе в Кубке, она повлияла так на команду. Хотя Погребняк сейчас с мячом.
А Погребняк-то не играл.
А вот и гол! Вот и гол Урала! Вот и гол Урала! Только-только мы покритиковали хозяев. Это уже Николай Димитров забивает. Отличный футбол в Екатеринбурге, друзья. 2-1. Димитров забивает. И тоже, между прочим, красивый гол. Очень красивый гол. Димитров поймал мяч на ногу. Ну и теперь, говоря о отсутствии или присутствии сил, все это не так важно. Сейчас морально-волевые качества выходят на первый план. И гол, я думаю, что эмоции подарят Уралу.
Но что не получается в центре, подчищается на линии штрафной.
Араторе, подача, удар головой, еще один удар. Что здесь, мяч в ворота?
Погребняк.
2-2. Урал сравнивает счет в матче против Енисея. Вот это да! Смотрим. Первая попытка Погребняка. Далее Панюков. Ну и только с третьего раза Павел Погребняк переправил мяч в ворота. Там еще рикошет был от Сары, если не ошибаюсь. Ну, в общем, максимально удивительный гол. 2-2. Урал сравнял счет, но, судя по реакции Парфенова, он требует продолжения. Он требует, чтобы был еще один мяч. И он влетает. 3-2.
И это Панюков.
Панюков забивает. Эль-Кабир, его прострел. Тут, кстати, не было ли офсайда у Панюкова. Еще обсудим, но в любом случае Эль-Кабир сделал голевую передачу, а Панюков забил свой первый гол в этой встрече.
Завал, чмок был. И Ракинский 1-0! Это как Лоран Блан и Фабиан Бартес. Это работает! Зенит выходит вперед! Петербург 1, Москва 0. Какой удар! Алексей Миранчук. Заброс на Рыбуса. Рыбус штрафной. Мяч под правой. Дальше Алексей Миранчук и Ману Фернандеш. Помешал ему Баринов. Но получилась передача. Рикошет. 1-1. А вот был ли здесь офсайд у Рыбуса? Это большой вопрос. А дальше Миранчук. И под удар. Но получилась передача. Хорошая передача. И получается... Вот и Юрия... Нет, вот Себастьяна Дриуси мяч нырнул в ближний угол. 1-1. Самый популярный счет, который встречается между этими командами.
Сутармин, ставший лучшим бомбардиром команды в этом сезоне. Передача в штрафную площадь. И еще одна передача. Это пока еще не удар, а вот это уже удар по воротам и мяч в сетке. Хотя бежит Городов к боковому, прежде всего, арбитру. Мяч будет защитным. А в чем здесь, собственно говоря, был вопрос? Или сомнение? Смотрим еще раз. Возможно, положение вне игры. Именно об этом пытался сказать Городов. Мы видим, что игрок, забивающий мяч, никоим образом не может попасть в положение вне игры. Это вылетевший из глубины построение Терехов. И Уциев от самого углового флажка выполняет эту передачу. Раванелли бьет и забивает. 1-1. Самый угол, только нижний, вбивает этот мяч. Атакующий полузащитник Ахмата. Швед сначала показал, что он может сделать передачу в штрафную площадь, а потом сделал пас Уциеву. И вот здесь оставалось сантиметров 20 до линии буквально. Уциев делает передачу в штрафную площадь, где Савелий Козлов не сумел разобраться 1 в 1 с 14-м номером Ахмата и позволил Раванелли нанести этот разящий удар. Дальний удар. Ух, какой удар! И красивейший мяч забивает Олег Иванов. Невероятно! На 3-й минуте второго тайма в дальнюю девятку Олег Иванов отправляет мяч. Ну, удар, конечно, невероятный по точности. В дальнюю девятку и гол Олега Иванова. Потрясающее попадание. 4-й мяч в этом сезоне забивает Олег Иванов. Последний раз он отличался еще в ноябре, когда забивал ворот самарских крыльев, тоже в гостях. И позволил Оренбургу лидировать в счете. Еще одна опасная атака. Балай. И 3-й гол в воротах Оренбурга. Это уже очень серьезно. Беким Балай. Здесь Раванелли делает передачу. Он сначала выиграл единоборство у Мишкича, а потом еще сделал такой пас, который оставляет 2 игроков Оренбурга в полупозиции. Бегич уже не может сыграть. Сиваков еще не может сыграть. Беким Балай так здорово между ними открылся. И вот этим своим одним касанием, возможно, принес победу Ахмат.
И вот удар Кирилла Панченко в штангу. А вот ответ, удар Понсе! Понсе! Вы посмотрите, что творит Андрес! Фактически первый момент и сразу же успех! Во-первых, как здорово обработал, как принял и какой удар здесь Шунин. Но при всем уважении, при всем его мастерстве и навыках очень тяжело было Антону. Мяч полетел по такой дуге.
Сейчас подождем. Давай подождем. Нормально страхуешь, нормально.
Две команды должны пойти вместе. Не было, да, замер? Серж, ты живой?
замена вместо Абеля Эрнандеса, номер 11. Играет Такума Масимура, номер 19.